let's shift gears here a bit, guys, because Treasurer Jim Chalmers had a lot to say today. He talked about supply chain crises in China, but he also called for improvements to the country's migrant worker program after warning our aging population and falling fertility rate could diminish our workforce. Now, Caroline, shouldn't we be looking at improving our own friendly policies like baby bonuses and tax breaks rather than simply relying on overseas migration when, once you get done building all the infrastructure for them, you're not necessarily talking about any real productivity gains?
No, that's quite right. Well, look, I think part of it is tax breaks, and I'm one of those people. I'm more than happy to say I think something like childcare should be tax deductible. Just do it, get it over and done with, and move on. This whole idea of more and more subsidies is just garbage, because we know that subsidies never bring down prices. But I think it's more than just the family policy. I actually think it goes back to things like housing affordability, because once you've bought a house and you settle down, then you can have your family. If people think that they're always going to be in this temporary sort of situation, they're a lot less likely to make really permanent decisions. So I think it's partially something like childcare. I think a big part of it is housing affordability. I think that's a massive part of it. And as far as immigration goes, look, there has been some really interesting comments in the media over the last couple of weeks from a couple of finance commentators who have said, well, look, Australia is probably going to miss a technical recession next year just because we're going to have such high immigration. Now, James and Gary, you both know that I'm a fan of immigration. Otherwise, my family wouldn't have ended up here. I'm more than happy with immigration. My preference is that we talk about like stable and long-term immigration. People who come and stay and make Australia their home, I think that's really important. But we do have to be careful that, just jamming people into the country when there's already pressure on our hospitals, pressure on our ambulances, pressure on a whole range of infrastructure, that just trying to keep us out of a recession and trying to keep that aggregate GDP buoyed, then in fact we don't actually lower our living standards for everyone who's already here.